They charged me with resisting arrest.
Get that confidence in jail.
I object.
Hello, fellow patriots, and welcome back to another episode of Allegedly Bravo. I'm Cash.
And I'm Lauren. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, you guys. It's the weekend. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm renewed.
Oh, just ready to talk about it and mention it all. I feel like saying, well, you know, it's Saturday and we're going to talk about the housewives. So I'm having a great day. I feel like that's your little catchphrase.
I love
that's
it.
How I feel.
There's nothing better. And I don't know if that just speaks volumes to how boring my life is.
No, I think it speaks volumes as to your character, what you find interesting, and really your just deep Renaissance appreciation for the arts.
Exactly.
That's what I think it means. How
are you doing? How's it going? What's new?
So good. You know, I think I'm fully recovered from the shingles. I had a birthday. I also went to a crazy Taylor Swift dance party. And I still haven't gotten COVID. So I'm doing great. How are you doing?
You're thriving.
I'm thriving. I've never had it. I don't think I'll ever get it. You know, I did hear that cannabis keeps the COVID away. A canny a day keeps the COVID away. And so to that, I say,
smoke up.
I've fixed it. I've solved everything. Everyone come over and partake. Okay.
That's funny.
How are you? Did we already talk about it?
I can't remember. Honestly, I'm great. You know, work's been wild. I have to work after this. So I'm just really trying to live in this moment so I don't have to go back to work. But
moment by moment.
Yeah, just a busy little week. I can't believe we're approaching February. It's nuts.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared for February. It's going to fly by.
Well, why are we scared for February?
And because I'm going to take the bar again because I just can't learn my lesson. So,
but this time you're taking the Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm from Minnesota now, so I'm going to take the Minnesota bar, and I don't know if they're going to make me do it in an accent, but I'll try.
Is it online or do you have to go in person?
In person.
So, that's wild.
And that's the other thing is like, okay, so at this point, I've taken a lot of bar exams, and I've taken them in person and I've taken them remote. I've never taken one with a mask on, and I'm not looking forward to taking an exam with the mask on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, it's going to be a distraction and I already know, but whatever, I'll do it because we have to do it. But I just know I'm going to break out. So anyway,
so when is the exam?
The last 2 days of February.
Okay. And how are we feeling?
You know, we're just like ready to pass this time and start making a salary because she's over it. I was not born to be unemployed. I'll tell you that.
Well, everyone's so excited for you. You're going to do great.
Thanks.
And then we're going to have a freaking party when you pass.
Oh, fuck yeah, we are. An engagement party and a bar passing celebration.
Yes. Why not? Do it all at one time.
Exactly.
Do you want to let the Patriots know why we're here today? What are we talking about?
We're going to be talking about the White House party crashers. I'm so excited. People have been asking for this. So here you go. And I know we've been talking about it for a while, like, oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then we keep not doing it. But here we are. We're doing it.
It's so funny.
It is so funny. But before we get started, quick shout out to our VIP patrons. Over at patreon.com/allegedlybravo. Our VIP patrons are CK at Classic Skytops, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, and Wendy Beth. Thank you so much for your support. And you guys helped get some documents for this today. So thank you.
We love our patrons.
We love our patrons.
And just to tell you, everyone who is not subscribed or a patron member, I highly recommend it. There are different levels and different tiers that you can subscribe to. And we have been doing deep dives into Salt Lake City, and we have had a lot of opinions. And we actually just released our most recent one about the Jenny Wynn of it all. Our thoughts and opinions on it. We talk about cancel culture. We talk about Bravo's role in it. We talk about the other ladies. And so I would highly, highly recommend, if you're not a patron, to go over there and subscribe now so you can get access to that.
I loved that. I mean, that was so unfiltered and so
Very
raw. And I feel like we really talked about things that were like, they're hard to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And
and I feel like we tried to be very objective, but then and look at things from an outside perspective, and we looked at from all angles.
Yeah.
You know? So
same conclusion though.
Same conclusion, not great.
Racism is bad. And not welcome here. So our White House party crashers. So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the White House party crashers were really the gate opener for all of our criminal behavior on Bravo. Would you agree? I could not think of a sooner one.
It was the first one that was documented or caught on camera because in 2009, I think that's when the tradition. Oh my God, I can't talk to
traditions. That
Teresa Giudice of it all was happening behind the scenes. But I think this was our first incident on Housewives, I think, that really took off in the press too.
Yeah.
And created a worldwide conversation.
This was beyond a worldwide. Yeah. This was a universal conversation that I think like, I wouldn't be surprised if like foreign officials, ambassadors to places know these people. Okay. So
I bet there's some terrorists out there that were just like, how'd they get in? I need to know.
Exactly.
Let me get their agent.
Stop. So Andy Cohen actually said on Watch What Happens Live regarding this whole incident, he goes, I really wanted to bring Real Housewives of DC back for season 2, said Andy Cohen. It really picked up half the season, but the Salahis really tanked the show. When the FBI is asking for raw tapes of your show, good thing to maybe not move forward. My, how the times have changed.
Yes. So I have a thought on that comment.
Yeah.
The Salahis did not tank the show. They were the most interesting part of the show. That cast was so poor. They were so boring.
You mean poor financially?
No, I don't mean poor financially. I'm sorry. It was just a poor casting decision. They were so boring. Nobody was willing to let loose because of the positions that all of their husbands or they held in DC. And so they didn't want to be perceived a certain way. Whereas the Salahis were ready to go and they were literally really willing to risk it all.
They were willing to risk it all. And really, they put that whole entire franchise. I never saw one single episode, but I can tell you that they put that franchise on their back and they said, let's go.
And it's the only reason why people still talk about DC.
Right.
Had this incident not happened, it would be
nobody would care.
One of the biggest mistakes Bravo had ever, I guess, produced.
Yeah. That's really bold of you to say.
But it was so bad. I mean, it was so bad. And
I've never not watched a Housewives franchise. Like I've watched and not been interested. Like I watched Jersey. I just couldn't connect. Like every other, I think Jersey's really the only one I don't watch
I've watched them all.
And DC, I never had any relationship with those women.
Okay. So let's move into it because you guys, there's a lot. And so I'm going to start by talking about Michaele, just give a little bit of background on their relationship, Michaele and Tareq. So Michaele and Tareq Salahi, they were a married couple, met in Virginia, and they were casted on the Real Housewives of DC.
Thank you, Andy Cohen.
And so the whole gist, I'm sure all of you guys are aware, is that they attended this White House dinner that was, it was state dinner that was organized for the Indian Prime Minister. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I don't want to incorrectly pronounce it.
I want to try because I was practicing. I think it's Manmohan Singh.
And as we all know, they were not invited.
No, they weren't. They weren't on the list. Simply,
they were just straight up party crashers. The beginning part of the incident is actually caught on film when the Housewives crew is outside filming them, and that she was getting ready on camera.
That's crazy. And I didn't see any of that footage. Like, I would love to see that. Oh my God, Grizz just shut the door. Why did he do that?
Because he's a psychopath.
Oh my God.
But the interesting tidbit is that they were not the only housewives crashers, or sorry, only White House crashers.
Right.
There was somebody else that was there, I guess, that was not aware of the Salihis or Salihis.
I call them the Salahis, but I've also never met these people or seen this
show. The
show.
Salahis.
Uh-huh.
They were not aware, but this was just like, oh, White House crashing party, really.
It was like the one where everyone was like, hey, the guy was named Carlos Allen. Carlos Allen crashed the party. And Carlos didn't know the Salahis and the Salahis didn't know Carlos. They both went in completely blind, ready to meet this fucking prime minister. I mean, this just must have been a hoppin' party. I can't imagine how fun it must have been.
President Obama was there.
Yeah.
The fact that they passed 2 security checkpoints,
I can't believe that.
Showed photo ID. We're not on the list.
Not on the list.
And you made a great comment. This was off the record that this is, let's not forget, this is a post 9/11 world that we're living in. So I don't get how this happened.
You can apparently sneak into the White House party, a state dinner, easier than you can get through TSA. I mean, and a state dinner has like everybody at it, you know, like it's a kind of famous affair. So Bravo filmed her getting ready.
Yeah.
Her whole glam, everything. And so did you watch it then?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like?
Of course I watched it when it first aired. I haven't gone back and rewatched it, but I remember it being awkward because I think it's caught on camera where they're trying to say that their names are on the list or showing ID and they're not. And then obviously we knew that this, because it had filmed before, but the news release had come out that they had tried, well, they had not just tried, but they had been successful in crashing it.
They went through 2 lines of security.
Yeah. But so I think what happens is, as in any event where there's not PR, but there's like a publicist or something that's working in a huge team, there's like different levels of entry. So I'm assuming the first person was, I don't know why this would be, but was not Secret Service and was just like, okay, fine. Because they were being extremely persuasive. Like, oh, we know X, Y, and Z. They're here. Oh, look, they just walked in. Please let us. Look, we know them. And maybe they saw somebody that they knew that walked in front of them that recognized them.
Or they're waving at someone. Hey, John. Yeah.
And I think they were very persuasive. How they got through the second security, I don't know, but it's crazy.
It's so crazy. It really is crazy. Well, I just can't get over the fact that this is the fucking White House. Like,
I know. Well, and there's so many levels of security. Like you said, there are snipers on the roof.
Yeah. Like these are the Secret Service. Like they're listening. You mean to tell me that you can find me just based on me texting someone? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. But like, you cannot secure the White House. I don't get it.
I know. Well, let's do a deep dive. Let's talk about who Tareq and Michaele are.
Okay. So Michaele, which if I end up calling her Michelle, I am so sorry. I just never met her, you know? So I'm not used to Michaele. I didn't even know that's how you said it until the end. So Michaele grew up in Virginia and she went to college. Virginia. I wonder if she knew what's her nuts. Tinsley, remember? She grew up in Virginia too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Richmond. I had no idea it was a place until we went there. Yeah.
That's very, yeah.
So she went to college in Virginia, didn't graduate, which is totally fine. Like it's a hard thing. Then she worked as a front desk employee at a local radio station. She was an absolute vodka model in the 90s.
I love that tidbit.
I know, me too. It's like when you find out that like someone you know was like a Red Bull girl and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so crazy. So she was an absolute vodka model. And then she worked as a makeup artist for Trish McEvoy, which I found interesting because I've had some of those products and they're pretty high end. And I had no idea that this woman was like a makeup artist.
But was she?
But was she? I don't know, because here's the deal. So apparently Michaele is known about town as being like a bit of a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fraudster.
So yeah, a fucking liar, Camille, because she claims to have been a former Washington Redskins cheerleader. However, the Washington Redskins has publicly stated that she never worked for them, although she did perform with them once at a halftime event. Okay, I don't know what the Washington Redskins are. Is this like baseball?
Football.
Football. Okay.
They are now just called Washington, though, because we have done away with the term Redskins.
Oh, okay, good. Because that does seem very, very, very wrong to say. But okay, so they're just the Washington team. So this is football. So she did perform with them during the halftime game, but she was never a Washington cheerleader. Is this Washington, D.C. or Washington State?
Washington State, I believe.
Oh.
I don't know. Actually.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know anything about sports.
I would assume the state of Washington because there is a large Native American population there, but
yeah, I guess I could have
sports, man.
It's one Google search away that I just refuse.
Just don't care enough.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one day, maybe, or we won't. She also claimed to be a former Miss USA, but there's no record of her.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay,
why do people lie about things that can then be proven? And I don't like something so verifiable of Miss USA or Redskins cheerleader. Like I can Google a roster. Like I can call the Washington team up and say, hey, send me your list of cheerleaders from 1996 to present.
You could even just Google it, and I'm sure it would be less.
Yeah, it's probably online
for you to get. Yeah, like I don't know. I was actually talking about this with my boyfriend. Like we were talking about catfishing and how it's like so weird that people like post pictures on their dating profile or whatever, like totally looking like 15 years younger or whatever. And then you go meet them and you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, why would you lie about like your face?
Was it you that went on a date with somebody way back and they were much larger?
They were a completely different person. That was like the story that I brought up is like, the person that I was looking for and the person that was on the date were not the same person. Okay. And I literally called that man and said, I am at this restaurant. There are only 4 people here and I just don't see you. Like, and then he kissed me.
Oh yeah. Very bold move.
Very bold.
You got to shoot your shot. I'll never forget. I went on a date with this guy and we were just talking about how dating profiles suck and how you can get catfished and how people don't represent themselves to be truly who they are. And he said one time he went on a date and this girl was like super cute, petite. And then she walked in and was probably about 115 pounds bigger, which nothing wrong with being a thickie. We're thickies. So, but he's like, it was so awkward because she was just ordering so much food.
Oh,
and he's like, I wasn't interested in her at all, but I was laughing at the fact that she was there for the meal,
Oh yeah. And that's like a girl after my own heart.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel bad for you. Yeah. The date wasn't great, but like, good for her.
Good for her.
Like,
good for her. But also it's like,
I know it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
And it's like, after you do that, like after you show up, not being the person from the screen, it's like, now I don't even want to get to know you.
But then
and it has nothing to do with what you look like. It has everything to do with the fact that you're a liar. Yeah.
Well, it's major body dysmorphia.
Major.
But anyways, neither here nor there, but
neither here nor there. And we're diagnosing now people that nobody has even seen before. No. So that's fine.
And telling stories that I don't think anyone cares about.
Nobody asked.
Unhinged podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so Michaele and Tareq met in the year 2000 at what is absolutely shocking. Baby shower.
A baby
shower.
I didn't even know guys went.
I didn't know that was a place that you could meet men.
Me neither. And now I'm like looking back on all the baby showers and I don't even think I ever saw one man at any baby shower. Just at the end when like the husband comes in at the end, oh, hey, brought you flowers, like trying to show off that they're like a nice guy. I don't know.
Well, now we're moving into how they got married, because I think this sets the tone for their marriage and their escapades.
I agree.
They were married in 2003 and there was a guest list that included 1,836 guests. Some of the guests included Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy and U.S. Ambassador to Ireland, Margaret Heckler. So there are obvious ties to DC, right?
I mean, very obviously, like you have a Supreme Court justice sitting and watching you do something.
But I feel like these invitations were probably related to somebody's dad or mom.
Well, that's the
thing. They have connections.
It has to be.
And there's a desperate need to feel included in this group. So
I want to know how a makeup artist, and we haven't gotten to Tareq yet, but a winery worker,
a vintner,
how they got into any sort of relationship with a Supreme Court justice. I just don't know.
I think it's family ties. So
yeah.
So Tareq Salahi was a vintner, wine owner, travel expert, TV personality. He also grew up in Virginia. He went to, which is really interesting, went to UC Davis and got a degree in winemaking and in business management. For those that don't know, UC Davis is here in Northern California, and it's like a farm town.
Exactly. It's like if you go there, you are learning about agriculture or dairy wine industry, wine industry. Like you're doing some major shit.
But fun fact, they also have a very, very big veterinarian school as well in science. So
interesting. I didn't know that.
So anyways, so Tareq and his father, they end up owning this like award-winning wine. They're selling 15,000 cases per year. I think it's called Oasis Vineyard. And then Tareq branches off, creates Oasis Enterprises. He's just like on this entrepreneurial path, right? It engages with like wine country tours, wine tourism, catering events. I'm assuming it's here in Napa Valley.
Yeah.
So that's just some fun background, right? Do you want to get into his salacious past?
Yeah. So actually his mom sued him for starting that Oasis Enterprises, because Oasis Vineyard, the dad's winery, and Oasis Enterprises, Tareq's touring place, were just like not related. And so the mom, after the dad died, Salahi's mom was like, yo, like you're misappropriating the assets from this Oasis to that Oasis, and you're misdirecting funds from the winery to the enterprises. And so I'm going to sue you.
We all know you can't misappropriate funds.
You can't misappropriate funds, you guys. It will just
again
do it.
Again, another thing that can so easily be verified.
Right.
And traced.
Beyond easily verified. Like you guys, money has literal numbers on it. Like, come on, you can trace this shit. So anyway, the lawsuit ended up being dropped and no resolution was ever found. So unclear onto how they ended up working that out. I'm assuming it was just a family thing that they ended up working out, you know? So Oasis Vineyard filed for bankruptcy in 2008, actually, and Oasis Enterprises filed for bankruptcy a year later. And then the dad died.
Shocker. Well, not about the dad dying.
No, not about the dad dying.
But the bankruptcy.
But the BK thing. Yeah. So there was that. So they're married during this time. Michaele and Tareq are married.
So she's working for the wineries, right? So Michaele, it's a family operation at this point.
It's a family operation. She's working mainly for Oasis Enterprises. But as we know, that kind of commingles, you know?
Yeah. Well, so she was sued, right? Privately or what was?
So she ended up being sued by two different kinds of, I don't know if they were people or businesses, but basically for that she booked them on wine tours that never got delivered. No one ever went on these wine tours. And in 2012, the Attorney General of Virginia filed lawsuits against Michaele for violating the Virginia Consumer Protection Act for not even refunding the money for the canceled tours and all of that. So they're
Again,
just like
levels of deception.
This is like the aperitif to Firefest.
Yeah, it's just a snowball effect. It really
Yeah.
is true that people start off with small alleged criminal activity, fraudulent behavior.
You get away with a little.
It becomes just a bigger and bigger and bigger enterprise, and it literally takes over their lives.
Completely. And to the point where like nobody needs to have the attorney general knowing what you're doing. That's just stop doing things to make other people know what you're doing. As I say on a podcast going to the whole world. I don't know.
Well, so they've got these deceptive vibes going on in their early stage of their relationship. And this was just the beginning. This was the beginning of
this wasn't the first breach. Yeah,
no.
Exactly.
So they've had several incidences of crashing parties. So in 2005, President Barack Obama, who was a senator at the time, posed for a photo with both of them and the Black Eyed Peas for the Rock the Vote Awards dinner, right?
Yeah.
Do we know did they sneak into that or were they invited?
So it seems to me like they were not invited and that they ended up at the Rock the Vote Awards dinner and just started taking pictures with everyone, like the Black Eyed Peas.
I mean, it tracks. It
tracks.
Okay, so then it's September 26, 2009. At a dinner for Congressional Black Caucus, the couple again crashed a party, took photos with representatives, Chuck Rangel, Star Jones, and again, security asked them to leave.
Right. So this is like now in 4 years, you're crashing. And these are just like the major things. Like this is award shows and
yeah. How many weddings do you think they've crashed?
Oh my God. Wedding Crashers was probably made after them,
Yeah. They're probably, and crashing elite weddings. So, and then in December 2nd, 2009, while on the Today Show, they claimed that the Gardner Law Group had given them tickets to that event in reference to the Black Caucus event. However, the caucus spokeswoman refuted that claim.
Yeah. So again, it's like
verifiable.
It's like at some point you're just like, is it a kink to get caught for you? Like what is going on?
That's actually a really good point. But there's such a level of desperation to feel accepted and be a part of this political.
But then go run for something.
That's what I'm saying.
At this point, you're just like canceling wine tours. It's weird.
Being losers.
It's weird. It doesn't seem like I cannot find the connection between these people and these people. Like I just can't.
Do you think that they're just associate themselves with a group of friends that are invited to these events and they're not getting the invitations? So they are just having to, but there's again, a desperate need to be a part of it. So they're just crashing.
This is a thought that I just had right this second. I kind of wonder if like, okay, so this seems to be like 2000 something. This is like in the beginning of like the revolution of the reality TV life.
Yes.
So we have The Simple Life at this time. I think Housewives of Orange County is just kind of starting. So I wonder if this was like their way of trying to get fame, like because there was no reality show to try to get fame, that they were like trying to get into magazines by being at these big parties, maybe.
I guess that's fair because they did go on the Today Show to address the rumors.
Yeah.
So there could be a huge publicity push that's happening behind the scenes where they're doing this just to be a headline. That's possible.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Let's move into the
big event.
The meat and the potatoes.
The meat and potatoes.
Well, so November 24th, 2009, the fateful day where they attended the White House state dinner for Indian Prime Minister Singh, and they were not invited.
Not invited. Keywords.
Bravo's filming at this time, right?
Yeah. Cash got to see it all.
Got to see it all. But there's an interesting tidbit that Lauren found. So there was a man named Tim Burke who was the director of a reality show called the MTV Blaggers.
I think
it was
so.
a gate crashing show.
Mm-hmm.
So supposedly Tareq had contacted this person, Tim Burke, probably a week before the White House event, and asked Mr. Burke for advice on how to trick somebody or how to crash a black tie event.
I mean, mens rea, am I right?
Right.
Like he totally intended to crash this fucking party.
I mean, premeditated for sure.
What other words can we say that sound legal?
I know.
Legal jargon. Okay.
But I mean, how desperate. So you're having to call somebody
I know
who specializes. So what is gate crashing?
So gate crashing is crashing parties you're not invited to. I guess it's like party crashing, but it's like, you know, not just like a house party where like the doors open. It's like the kind where you're like getting into parties that have a list or have a ticket or like an event.
And I will note though that Wedding Crashers, the movie, had come out in 2005. So maybe the MTV, that show, the gate crashing show, was kind of piggybacking off of this whole kind of obsession with Wedding Crashers, the movie, because I know a lot of people started crashing weddings after that came out. And so it's so weird.
It is weird. And it's just like,
I get it for a TV show. Like you want to make it fun. It's like Punked or like a prank show, but to be doing this in your real life and at such important events.
I mean, the White House, like I just can't get over it.
So weird. Well,
yeah.
So it's unclear regarding Tim's response because while everyone else was wearing black and navy blue to the event, the black tie event, there was a strict dress code.
He asked for literal advice on how to sneak in.
Michaele ended up, this is like, we've seen all these photos, these iconic photos of her wearing a gold embroidered red sari. So what are your thoughts on that?
Wow. So you just wore the most, I mean,
culturally appropriating.
Not only did you culturally appropriate an entire culture, or did she? I don't know. Is she Indian?
No. She's
okay. Sorry. I don't know her. I just don't know her.
She's very white and blonde hair.
Okay.
Skinny.
So yes. So we'll go back to exactly what I was saying. Yes, she is beyond wild. Like, how are you going to show up to a black tie event in red?
Delusion.
You're going to stand out like a sore thumb. It's like, I guess maybe that was the trick, like stand out like a sore thumb. So the thing is though, like Michaele does say that she allegedly called the White House staff just to make sure that wearing the red sari was appropriate. Okay. And then these people who just let her in uninvited were like, yeah, that's appropriate.
Well, and I don't think that those conversations happen because it says on the invitation, like red,
black tie,
traditional Indian attire or black tie, cocktail dresses.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if the White House is like picking up your phone call to give you wardrobe advice.
Right. They're busy, I think.
Well, and the best part about this is that she then donated that dress that she wore. She auctioned it off for $7,000. I mean, at least she donated the money and didn't keep it. But
I want to know who was like, I want that for $7,000.
I mean,
if you had $7,000 to blow, you'd buy that. You know what? I want to create a household museum. Yeah, that's true. Like, I can't lie. I would too. Like, we were definitely all involved in that Tom Girardi and Keith auction. Like, I wanted a lot of that stuff, but I just simply couldn't afford it.
I mean, people were buying old calendars, panties, lingerie, photographs. Like, if people are buying that, they're going to buy this red sari. At least it was pretty.
I think Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good has the underwear.
Oh, God.
Dead.
Okay, so another interesting factoid about this is that in preparation of going to this event, she's got full glam, like getting her hair done, getting her makeup done.
Mind you, she has no ticket.
But so she has told and perpetuated this lie to multiple people because at one point she ends up getting a $30,000 necklace to borrow to wear to the event
from David Gearman.
I'm no expert, but like I don't think people lend out jewelry just to anybody. Like, you have to have some
Connection.
status, right?
Yeah. Well, do you have to have some collateral? Because it's like, who's going to give you $30,000 worth of jewels? And also, like, I don't know. It's just like to an event that you weren't invited to. This is just so much preparation for an event that you don't even know you're going to get into. And then the fact that they had to ask for it back 3 times.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I just don't know. I don't know about collateral because the only thing I've ever had to do is like give somebody my ID and then have to like rent, like for bowling shoes. Like, yeah. Like, here's my ID.
Which really that is an inappropriate exchange, I think. The shoes are worth way less than my identity. How dare
100%. Yeah. But yeah, the fact that David Yurman had to ask for the necklace 3 times back, or for 3 times to get it back, not great.
It's like, okay. Yeah. Charlize Theron would never. So guess what? They're going to give it to her instead.
Okay. So the biggest question, how the hell did they get inside?
How'd they do it?
So according to the Washington Post, they think it's because they looked the part. Like, they were dressed up. And again, it's kind of what we said earlier in the episode of where maybe they were walking in with a group of people that actually had tickets. And so it was more believable. But according to the Washington Post, they said that the Salahis were allowed inside in violation of agency policies by an officer outside the front gate who apparently was persuaded by the couple's manner and insistence, as well as the pressure of keeping the lines moving on a rainy evening. So it was just this like combination of like the perfect storm, I guess.
Yeah. It reminds me of Ocean's 13.
Yeah.
And like all those Oceans movies where it's like, well, it's raining. We got to go. And they're like just sneaking in and everyone's like, how do they do it? And it really just makes those movies like less exciting. Like, why would I watch that for 2 hours when I could watch this for an hour? But yeah, so then a reporter from the Washington Post recognized the Salahis while they were there. Okay, which I think is crazy. And the reporter's like, the moment that I saw them, I realized they were not on the list. I asked a White House staffer to verify their names and explain why they were not on the list. I told the same thing to another staffer a few minutes later. This was before the Salahis went through the receiving line with the president, and they could have been quietly questioned and pulled aside. So yeah, they just like didn't even care. Like, people inside were like, oh, these people shouldn't be here, XYZ, like, and everyone else is just like, huh? And then they say that the White House security said that they didn't even know that this entire breach happened until the Salahis posted their Facebook photos.
Well, and I don't know how they weren't aware of it when the reporter obviously put somebody on notice.
Mm-hmm.
And so there had to have been multiple levels of security. Obviously, the Secret Service, maybe there was private security that was hired. And again, there was like a PR team that was working the front gate as well, who was going through the list. Like, but to me, that seems kind of negligent on behalf of the White House when you have Secret Service that are being funded and paid for with our tax dollars.
Right.
To keep politicians and everyone safe. Because yes, this is all lighthearted and fun because it's a housewife, but like, to know that somebody got into an event like this, it's like, how easy is it now to do that? And
well, it's clearly very easy. Like, even if we see these are just Americans that we know breaching security. Like, look at January 6th. Like, maybe we should get a little training going on with security, or like update your cameras or something. I don't get it. How can you find out something on Facebook when you should have like closed circuit cameras everywhere?
Well, and according to the Secret Service, they found emails between the couple and Michelle S. Jones, who was the assistant to the Secretary of Defense of the Pentagon.
Oh my God.
And basically these emails were like, you can't come. Like, you're not invited.
Don't come. So
that means they made multiple attempts, one, to get the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
Then they continued to ask and poke and prod on different levels, whether it was through the Pentagon, the White House, the Capitol, whoever, to see if they could get some type of invitation somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just reinforced through an email of like, you're not welcome. But then to have the ego to be like, We're still coming.
We're still coming. And not only are we coming, we're coming in hot and we're going to take pictures and then we're going to post them and we're going to meet the president. I mean, that's just crazy. But then I'm like, okay, so then here we have them again, you know, the next day or a couple days later. It's like, here comes the news, all the morning shows being like, hey, sit down and tell us about your thing. So then Matt Lauer, perv. Matt Lauer was like, were you invited to this party? Like, what's going on? And Michelle says, we were invited. We were not crashers. And there isn't anyone that would have the audacity or the poor behavior to do that. Everything we worked for, Matt, for me, 44 years, just destroyed by you walking into the White House uninvited. Like,
again, can be verified and then is verified because then they sat down with Marie Claire.
Oh my God.
And they once again are adamant that Michelle Jones, the Pentagon liaison to the White House, had extended the invitation with an email requesting for the social security numbers, date of birth to be cleared for the event. And they even said that they had met with her through the attorney when they spoke, I guess, at the DC Mall in September. But like we know, Michelle Jones comes out and says, hey, those emails, first of all, yes, they exist. I communicated with them, but I was adamant and they were not invited.
I mean, it's just like, it's so crazy. I mean,
there's such a level of desperation to be believed, but it's so quickly contradicted by actual facts and evidence, you know?
By actual facts. Like, I don't know. Then she continues on by saying, like, there are so many events that you've probably attended, Matt, Mr. Pervert. You've probably attended plenty of events where there's no actual printed invitation. So she goes, I didn't go thinking I was chancing it. No one goes with a film crew to be turned away. How embarrassing would that have been? And we were announced. We believe in our hearts we were 100% invited. Okay. All the details about what happened that day, including phone calls, emails, and witnesses, will be in a book we are writing called Wine, War, and Roses. And when the Bravo show airs this fall, the truth will prevail.
I love it. Like, this is what I wanted my housewife. I want desperate, delusional, insane, so unattached or detached from reality.
So detached from reality.
You know, of course, I want to protect like the safety of this country and our politicians and, you know, people that are truly, you know, Department of Defense and stuff. Don't want anyone to breach those walls. But, you know, I do enjoy it for some viewership. So.
Yeah. Like, we don't want violence ever. No, but we do love the idea of crashing a White House event.
You guys, this is so intense that they were asked to attend a hearing by the U.S. Homeland Security Committee to testify.
I know.
Initially, they refused, but then the U.S. House Homeland Security Committee said, oh, wait, we have this thing called a subpoena power. So they forced Michaele and Tareq to both come. They both brought their attorneys. Of course, they didn't divulge really much or anything. They pleaded the fifth.
32 times.
32 times.
Yeah. The security guard officials from India were fucking shook.
Yeah.
And they were like, if this happened in the Indian government buildings, heads would roll.
Do you think they should have been arrested?
Oh, that's such a hard question because technically, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the White House public property?
No.
Because like we own it or no? Like all of us together collectively? Isn't it our
but
house?
It's still gated and private. I mean, it's secured. Like you have to have an invitation to come in or you have to be invited in. It's open to the public for tours, but you have to like schedule it. And in this case, it was probably after hours for an event.
Right. I mean, it was a dinner for God's sakes.
I mean, that's like saying the Capitol's public property and what happened on January 6th was they were just walking in.
That's true. So I guess if it's like trespassing, then yeah,
it's trespassing.
Then
and
I would say let's get them Yeah, sit them down. Yes, I do think they should have been arrested. I've actually completely became firm on this because I think that if they were arrested, it would have been, and this is selfish, it would have been so fun to watch like the depositions, read the transcripts, like
God.
find out all the parties that they've crashed, hear how they did it. I want to know. I want to read the email from Michelle at the Pentagon. Yeah, arrest them.
What a time to like really tune into C-SPAN.
I mean, that is literally when C-SPAN isn't boring, is when your housewife is sitting in a committee chair and Kamala Harris is just like yelling.
Ripping
and what's
her
her
new
face
one.
has a whiteboard. The lady from Irvine. What's her name? Katie Porter.
Well, do you think that they were on the no-fly list?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, it sounds like really the only thing they've dealt with in terms of repercussions was backlash from the public.
Mhm.
Tareq was then asked to resign, right, from the Virginia Tourism Board, which made me LOL, like, what? Stupid.
I know.
And by the end of 2009, Washington Post had assigned over 12 reporters to investigate them.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing now.
I don't either. But I do know that they broke up. And that in 2011, he filed a missing persons report for Michelle Michaele. See,
Michaele.
I did it. When actually she wasn't missing, she just ran off with some guy named Neil, and she was totally having an affair on Tareq. So he's all, oh my God, she's missing. And Michaele's like, no, I'm not. I'm actually with Neil. And Neil then proposed to Michaele with an 11.42 carat diamond. That's
what
disgusting.
An odd number.
I think probably they either probably chipped off too much or couldn't chip off the rest. Maybe. I don't know.
What an obnoxious ring to wear.
Round up. If you're going to be that bad, round up. And also, if you wanted to be a part of that wedding, you were totally available to watch it for pay-per-view for $14.95.
Embarrassing. Desperate. I'm surprised that Michaele never ended up on, I mean, maybe she did and we're just not aware of it, but didn't end up on like Big Brother or Celebrity Big Brother, like Celebrity Survivor Island, Do you think
we could get Michaele on the show?
100%. Maybe not after this, but
maybe we should ask her and then air it.
Yeah, maybe we could do a follow-up to this.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That's very call her daddy of us.
Very, like we could do an in-person interview and then do a Skype interview later to just like rehash the questions that
it.
Yeah. So
awesome.
You guys, that was so fun. It was refreshing
to
do something where, somebody wasn't really prosecuted or died
and really it was like awful, but we found a way to laugh.
We did find a way to laugh. So before we wrap up, do you have any criminal behaviors?
Oh my God. Yes.
So many.
I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start with this one. Don't fucking scream in public. Don't scream in public. Don't run in public. None of that. It's triggering for a lot of people. So that's my criminal behavior. If you're running in public, I hope you trip and fall. And if you're screaming, I hope you lose your voice.
Don't you have another one?
Yeah, I can't remember if I said this or not.
No, you haven't.
That people are saying that they like tequila or like coming out with tequila brands. It's like, fucking stop. Tequila isn't good. It's gross. And George Clooney has no business making tequila.
What would you rather have? Sip on tequila or vodka? If you had to sip on it.
I would never sip on tequila. I'd rather die.
No, I'd sip on tequila.
What's yours?
So my criminal behavior this week is just, waitresses that just touch the table a little bit too much. Like they come back and they ask, how you doing? Do you want me to? They don't read the room.
Yeah. It's like, let me chew.
Let me sit. Let me look at the menu. Let me order a cocktail, maybe an app. And it's just coming when a waitress comes back and it's a little too chatty. Mm-hmm. And also when they come back when you're eating and they're asking you how the food is. It's like,
right.
If I had a complaint, I'd let you know.
Right. It's like, I'd flag you down. Like, I'd flag you down. You're earning your tip. We will tip you. We appreciate you. I'm in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah.
My water has never dropped below an inch. I'm good.
Yes. But
That's
just
the energy I want from a bottomless mimosa waitress. And that's it.
yes. But just if I'm out at a nice dinner, like I don't need you coming over and touching the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by touch, I mean they just come over and they're talking.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
So,
Not a physical touch, just
not
a little bit
No,
too in the zone. Yeah.
No, not a Me Too touch, just a table touch.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I agree.
Well, that was so fun. It feels good to be back. I feel refreshed. I feel renewed.
I know. Me too.
We'll have to think of next week's episode.
Oh, no, we have one. Our patrons asked for.
I forgot.
Yeah, our patrons asked us for Kim Richards. So that's what we're going to be doing. I love Kim. So I'm very excited.
Okay, fine. I'll get into it, I guess.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.